All right, week one in the books. Crazy to think we're already through a game of the season, heading on to week two. So joining me again, we've got Joe Fagnano coming off a great game against Central week one. So Joe, thanks so much for hopping on.
Thanks for having me, Jared.
So I mean, let's just start with this one. Coming out of week one, when you look at a lot of the headlines around the game, just the production that the offense was able to put up on Saturday, one of the key talking points coming out of the game. How did it feel to be with that group after what you've gone through this offseason, working together in camp and being able to see some results early on?
Yeah, it's definitely good. When you're getting results, especially all the hard work that you put in the off season, it's always good to go out in the game field and see that come together. But I think a lot of the thing, we still feel like we left a lot out there on the table, especially in the start. So we were more focused on what we can improve rather than focusing strictly on the good. There's certainly a lot of good, but here we're striving to be we're striving for perfection. Obviously, that's very hard to do and hard to get to, but we're always just looking to improve.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'll start with a lot of the good, and we could talk through some of that stuff. First here, obviously for you, 260 yards, three touchdowns, and you had a rushing touchdown as well. Something a little different from you. Just how did it feel for you personally out there? Going through everything on Saturday.
It was good. Once we got things starting to click, it was just, momentum was on our side, and that's kind of the name of football. You get momentum, and guys are feeling good, and you're flying around. Things just start to click. I was able to hit a couple receivers downfield. Cam had some explosive runs along with Mel, and then the O line really started to click, picking up pressures and everything. So when everybody's playing well like that, it makes my job like super easy. Now I'm just focused on getting playmakers the ball.
Yeah, I know last week we talked a little bit about how nice it is to have guys like Skyler, like Cam, like Mel that you could just, you know, throw a quick pass to, and the next thing you know, they're taking it 80 yards. We got a couple big explosive plays on Saturday. Seeing those just happen, as we after we've been talking about them, it's got to feel pretty good to just know that you've got these guys that are reliable out there that you could just, throw a quick pass to, and the next thing you know, you're getting put in really good field position.
No doubt, those are the best. Those are those. I tell Cam and Mel all the time. My favorite pass is just a screenplay that they catch and take it 80 yards. So and then Skyler as well. But yeah, I mean, no doubt, just having those guys at your disposal and knowing that they're gonna step up in big time moments and make the plays. It really starts in practice with all those guys. They're every play they're finishing in the end zone, they're leading our team. So a lot of people just see what happens on game day, but I get to see, kind of behind the scenes of the work that these guys put in. So it's, just makes it that much more special when they do make the play.
Yeah. Uh, were you surprised Skyler was wide open on that second touchdown? I think it was to him in the end zone there.
Uh, I mean, a little surprised, but you never want to be too surprised. But when you got a guy like that, and it's not very often you get him wide open. So I was just telling myself, just put this one on him and go through
Yeah.
the rest. That was just good scheme by our coaches and Skyler executing.
Yeah. We got to talk about the play that I think everyone's been talking about since the game. And that was the catch down the sideline that he made, the one-handed grab. What was it like seeing that from your perspective out there on the field as you're seeing that ball head his way?
Um, it was fun, just saw that we had a matchup out there. Um, and then really he did the rest. I threw it and I kind of got hit, so I didn't initially get to see what happened. Like how I didn't know he had a one-handed catch until I got over to the sideline, to be honest. Because I remember we're just running down there. I'm trying to get the next play called.
Yeah.
But when I did see it, I was like, wow, it's a really good catch. But yeah, so I don't have much of a perspective on it. I didn't really get to see it. I kind of threw it to a spot. That's just the timing that we've been working on this whole off season to where you know I'm not trying to see him open. I'm trying to throw it to a spot and trusting that he's going to get there and make the play, which he did.
Yeah. Um, in order for you in the rest of the playmakers here to really be able to do what they do best, you need a really good O line, and they gave you the time, the protection to be able to get out there and make these plays. What are your thoughts on their performance coming out of week one here?
I thought they played really well. both in the pass game and in the run game. I think, we had a bunch of explosives in both, and that doesn't happen without them. No doubt, for sure. So whenever, I tell the O line every time, we go as far as they go, however far they're going to take us. We can't get a play started without them. So they're, kind of the unsung heroes, which stinks because, they do a lot of hard work, but I'm here to give them their praise, and they played a heck of a game in game one. Now, I know that they're, that's a hungry group, and the leaders in that group are going to want to play even better this week.
Yeah. Um, there were plenty of touchdowns in this game. I got to ask a fun one here. I think Skyler was my guy who I enjoyed his touchdown celebrations the most. Who do you think's got the best touchdown celebration on the team?
Last touchdown celebration on the team. Cam and Raymelo always have some good ones. He's always dancing and having a good time. Seems like he's kind of like the leader of that
Okay.
whole, yeah, that whole thing going on. He's always trying to make up the next move or something. So one of those two, they always got a good one.
Yeah. As we talk, I know you mentioned you're looking at ways to improve coming off this and not just looking at the good. What was your kind of takeaway from kind of, one or two areas of focus and growth for you guys as you head into the game against Syracuse and the rest of the season here?
I think the easy one is just coming out the gates and starting faster. We didn't have the start that we wanted. We went down 7-0 there. I mean, with a little special teams happened, but just starting fast overall as a team. We don't want to be behind the eight ball every game. Just in today's game, a lot of momentum is built. And what was good to see, though, from the bad start was that we were able to recover and kind of get things going. So, there's going to be more adversity that hits this year. So that was good to see from our team. But yeah, just the biggest thing is starting fast. We want to be able to score first or get a three now first, rather than starting behind the eight ball.
You love your car, but does it love you back? Introducing the Fasten Rewards Visa Card. With the Fasten card, you get rewarded for all your auto related spending, including monthly car loan or lease payments. That's 3 times points when you shop with Fasten partners, 2 times points on car payments, gas, tolls, insurance, car washes, and 1 times point on everything else. Stack up rewards and turn them into travel, cash, gift cards, maintenance, or even a down payment on your next car. Founded by a UConn fan. Apply now at fasten.cc/apply and buckle up for rewards. The Fasten Rewards Visa card is powered by High Note and issued by Celtic Bank, pursuant to a license by Visa USA Inc. All cards are subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. Rewards are subject to change. Visit fasten.cc/legal for full program details. I know you mentioned being a little slow out of the gate there. Some penalties came up. How much of that do you just attribute to just kind of being in first game action, first drive action with this group out there, heading into as part of week one here?
Yeah. I'm sure that's some of it, but at the end of the day, we feel like we put ourselves through a pretty intense training camp, and we've had some scrimmages at the Ren and these things to where we don't want to have those first game jitters or
Yeah.
first anything jitter. So we're looking to put that away. Just not the way that we wanted to start, but again, like I said, it was good to see that when adversity hits, this team can kind of buckle in and just get the job done. Just need to start a little better.
Yeah, you've been around here for a couple of years now. So, what were your thoughts on this team being able to push back from, against some adversity there that you had early on?
I mean, what I thought in the moment, I was a little upset that just the way that we started, but what was awesome to see was nobody kind of flinched. I remember being on the sidelines. We couple holding penalties, or I forget quite the penalties, maybe a false start here or there, and then the snap happened. But nothing really. Our mindset never really changed. It was always, we feel like when we're going to get the ball, we're going to go score. So that was good to see. That just the unwavering, if you want to call it leadership or emotion from just our whole side of the ball, was really good to see. So hopefully that's something that we can build on because I'm sure, in a 12, 13 game season, adversity is going to hit, maybe more than it did last game. So we need to be able to respond to those things.
Yeah. I'm curious to dive into kind of what your role is and mindset is when you're not on the field. When the defense is out there during a game, what are you kind of doing during that time there? How much are you looking back at the previous drive, thinking about what's coming next? What's that like from a quarterback's perspective?
The biggest thing is, sitting down with my coach, and we're going over different defenses that we saw that drive. We're getting on the iPad, looking at some just things that we can find or that we can see if we were getting what we thought we were going to get,
Yeah.
just from game plan the situation, or if they're showing us something new. And then, once we go through if it's a 3 play drive, 1 play drive, 10 play drive, once I get through all those plays, I'm kind of just going down the line from the running backs to the receivers, what I'm seeing, making sure that we're all on the same page, just with what we're seeing. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's easy when, you're scoring to go up and down the line. Hey, let's keep it going. Let's keep it
Yeah.
going. But the big thing is, maybe, maybe we do have a penalty or we do get stopped or whatever happens, just keeping that energy and that momentum going on the sideline.
Yeah. Um, so we're talking now. It's Monday night. It's been a couple days now since the game. What has it been like for you? Sunday and today, as you either look back on film from that or start to think about Syracuse a bit.
Yeah, so Saturday, enjoy the game, enjoy the win, with the team, watch whatever, games are on that night. Maybe family that's coming in town, hanging out with them. And then Sunday, come in, watch the film early of the previous game, and then typically try to put that game, whether it's a win or a loss, behind us right away and get on to the next opponent. So, really, Sunday afternoon, I'm already watching film of the next opponent. Um, and yeah, so just whether it's a win or a loss, we're trying to,
Yeah.
put it in the rearview mirror as fast as possible.
All right. So I'll only make you look back at it one more time then. So watching the film yesterday, what's one thing that really stood out to you as you look back on that you think is good for you to think about heading into the next game here against Syracuse?
Uh, what stood out to me was, no matter what the score was, I felt like the offense played at the same intensity that we say is the standard around here. Whether it was, whether we're up a lot or we're down a lot, you don't when you're watching the film and you don't see the scoreboard, you shouldn't be able to tell. And I felt like you couldn't. Whether we had our twos in there, our backups, the ones, everybody was playing with the same intensity. So that was good to see. That shows me that, we got a lot of guys bought in, on the offensive side of the ball, to what we're trying to get done. And when you have depth, that's just a huge thing because obviously in this game of football, things are going to happen, and you need to be able to have some depth at some positions to really keep going.
Yeah. So as you started to look at Syracuse, anything kind of catch your eye initially after taking a quick look at some of their film?
Um, you know, just the base, they fly around. They're a good team. They got some good coaches over there. They scheme up some good defenses. So, that's really it. I mean, they're just a physical group. They bring in some new guys every year, but they played hard last week. They played Tennessee pretty tough. So, that was cool to see that, watch that game and kind of what their plan was and how they were playing. But I thought they played tough. I thought they flew around, chased the ball, and should be a fun matchup.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting because you don't usually get to necessarily go and play two games at the same place back to back years. How do you think getting to go up in the dome and play up their experience, their game day atmosphere and environment helps you head into the game this year?
It should be fun. It's their home opener, so I don't know what they usually get on a home opener, but I'm assuming it's going to be a good amount. Um, Especially with the year that they had last year, winning that bowl game and however many wins they had. I think it was 10, but so it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. That's why you play the game, to go into these atmospheres and get these opportunities to go and showcase your talents. But I'm looking forward to it. I know it's going to be, it's a tough matchup, but we're ready for the challenge.
Yeah. Um, Hey, you mentioned a little bit about what their crowd size might be like being the home opener. I think from my perspective, sitting out there in the stands, it was great to see a packed rent on Saturday against Central. Were you able to just feel that excitement from the crowd out there, coming out student section full in a really good crowd?
Yeah, for sure. Anytime the fans show out, it's awesome. It just brings the energy. It just makes the game feel that much, more alive. But and when the students get going, they're, some of the best in the country. They on third down, they're always yelling. Going into that end zone that way is always fun to score. And so it definitely brings an energy and some juice to the game that, naturally you just wouldn't be there if the fans weren't there. So it's always awesome to see when the fans show out.
Yeah, and I think that rushing touchdown you had, that was right into the student section, right?
Right into the student section, man.
That's the way you want to do it on those, right?
Absolutely, for sure.
Awesome. Well, Joe, I really appreciate you taking some time here coming out of the Central game. And I know everyone's excited about what's ahead going up against Syracuse on Saturday. So best of luck on Saturday, and we'll chat after that one.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Jared. Thanks for having me.